once.
You can see on the bottom photo, the one that was taken upon your return, photo 31, there protrudes part of the picture on the right-hand side of the frame.
Uyabona kusithombe number 31 lapho kunesithombe esihengiwe lapha emuva noma ke iframe. Uyayibona?
Ngiyayibona into evelayo lapha esithombeni.
I can see something appearing on the photo.
Did you see it on the photo that was taken before your departure?
Manje kwisithombe number 7 uyasibona le frame noma lesa sithombe.
Asibonakala ngoba ngisho ukuthi umuntu oshuthayo kuya ngokuthi ukiphi position yena.
It does not appear, and I did say that the person who would be taking the photos, it would depend on him as to at which position are they standing.
Ngoba mangashutha umshushisi ngimngapha kungenzeka bengaveli laba abathatha bangapha kuvele lo yi1 mangima ngapha kuvela laba abathathu lo yi1 engaveli.
For instance, if I was to take a picture of the prosecution where he's standing like that from a different angle, then the prosecutor would appear and the 3 others next to him would not appear. But when I'm taking a picture from where I'm standing with the prosecutors, the other 3 would appear and he would not appear.
I learned something about Muzi today. Very, very clearly today, but you got to stay till the end of the video and I'll break it down for you. But I have to tell you the story. I was inside Phakathi within the Madlanga Commission doing a Madlanga Commission breaking news update on my other channel, and someone came into the comment section and says, no, you got to come back to the SENZO MEYIWA trial. We need an update. And I said, the SENZO MEYIWA trial is literally a template right now. It's on template mode, okay? It's on template mode. It might as well, at this point, might as well be AI. It might as well be AI because Baloyi and Muzi are going through the same thing, okay? Day in, day out. And today Muzi said, there's 3 names I'm going to say over and over and over again. And what he literally says repeatedly, which I think is going to cost him. If my Lord was to write a judgment today, it was going to be, and then you threw Mboto, Geninda, and Khatebe under the bus. Ooh, he's throwing them under the bus over and over again. Hello, Mzansi. Welcome back to another Mzansi Unfiltered edition. I am here by popular demand to let you know what happened in the SENZO MEYIWA trial today. I don't know what day we're on, but we are still a Muzi versus the entire state, okay? Not just Baloyi, no, the entire state, the entire SAPS. Bring it here. You know he doesn't care at this point. But then he has a moment where you realize he's very intentional. He's very, very, very intelligent. Let me just put that on the table right here, right now on the record. Muzi is very intelligent. He's very enraged, but he's very intelligent. He chooses his words really, really well. One thing he says, he'll just say Gininda Mboto and Khatebe. But when he had to address Shalolo, oh man, he says Shalolo. Oh, that was so beautiful to hear. It was like, okay, he's there. He knows what he's doing. Keep going, Muzi, keep going. Keep feeding the dog, feed the dog, until the owner comes out. Wow, isn't that something? Make sure you're following me on TikTok. Make sure you're following me on Facebook. Same name everywhere, Mzansi Unfiltered. Let's continue listening on to where Baloyi takes us, because it does get interesting. I want to get to the part where I talk about my Lord, so I'll be back in a second.
Last word on these photos. The evidence of Colonel Khatebe was that photos were taken on 2 different occasions. Photos 2 up to 7 before your departure and upon your return. Photos 26 up to 31 were taken, and this evidence was not contested.
Namanje mina ngiyaphikisa ngithi mina ngasho ukuthi ithombe kayi1 esikhathi emva kwalapho ngase ngisayinisa la amaphepha.
I'm still disputing, and I'm saying that I was only taken once and then I was made to sign papers.
Well, we don't know what is it that the state wants to make out of this, but number 1 would be that maybe the metadata. This court has heard a lot about the metadata. That is now the metadata simply refers to the time at which the photos were taken, you know, that metadata thing that was testified a lot about during the testimony of Rosenstein. I think it will be best for the court to requisition that information in order to resolve this impasse. And I'm not so sure whether the photo album that we are having as a defense is similar to the photo album that the state has, because this photo album, it only contains big photos that is photo number 1 up to photo number 31, but we're not even so sure whether there's a similarity of information is contained to the photo album that was made available to the state. I mean, to the defense by the state. I'm just not so certain. But if the court maybe would allow us the opportunity to compare the photos that are in the defense position and those that are in the state's position.
They're fine.
Based on the...
Sorry, I can even recall those photographers. What is the reason for taking photos when the person goes out to do the pointing out?
Yes.
What is the reason to take photos when the person has returned?
Yes.
And don't answer it, because I don't want to give evidence.
Yes, my lord. Yeah.
You are saying I'm a cheat for the serious reasons. I'm concluding. I've taken an oath, if you don't know, to administer the laws and the constitution without fear, favor, or prejudice, and to the best of our abilities. I don't know, Mr. Baloyi on a bar of salt.
On the one hand, Mnisi Wemvula is saying, I don't want to say that someone is fidgeting like I did when Dr. Sibanda got upset that Mnisi said that he is fidgeting with the selfie and the selfie is no longer looking like the original photo and that there's some live editing going on. So Mnisi chooses his words strategically so he can get his objection past the finishing line. And he says, you see, my lord, can we please, take an adjournment? We need to look at the metadata. We need to look at the metadata because Baloyi is not make sure. We do not have similar photos. But before I can declare that assertively, I need to look at the album that the state has. And the photo album we have, we being the defense, is photos 1 to 31. And then we have the state sounding like they've got something else. The state sounds like they have a very, very different album. So my lord, can we just check the metadata? And my lord says, yeah, okay, I can even recall the photographers if you want. And then suddenly, my lord, instead of putting a full stop there and ending it there because everything was sounding well, my lord proceeds to say, and I quote, yeah, fine, I can even recall the photographers. What is the reason for taking photos when the person goes out to do the pointing out? What is the reason to take the photos when the person has returned? And don't answer. I'm just asking rhetorical questions. I'm just giving Baloyi hints on where the problems are and what he's doing now. But don't answer because I don't want to give evidence. Now, let me know your thoughts on what my lord said. It reminded me of the time when my lord was so upset that Ngomezulu said he was colluding with the state. And my lord took it upon himself to let us know that he doesn't know Baloyi from a bar of soap. But let's continue this in the comment section. Let's continue listening on. Pay attention to what Baloyi does. Pay attention to what Baloyi does. And if you're also watching the Madlanga Commission, you'll know what I have to say. Here goes.
That's the reason.
I do understand, my lord, but I'm requesting, it's just a 5 minutes.
Requisition that guy.
Yes, a 5 minutes indulgence, my lord, to go through the photo album that I have in my possession. I will not include other colleagues of mine, but I'll speak about myself, to go through the photo album that I have in respect of this exercise and the photo album that the state has in its possession as it is going through this exercise, my lord, just to find out if we are on a similar page.
No problem.
Thank you, my lord. Thank you.
Yes,
We can do that during the long adjournment. We're almost done with the photos.
No, man, let me see that one. That one, yes. Let me see. Thank you.
So what do we do, Mr. Baloyi?
Well, my lord, as I indicated, we can do that exercise during the lunch.
The lunch hour.
Yes.
Thank you.
Now, just to come back to one aspect.
What a wow. What a wow. It was in this moment, it would have been the ideal moment for Lolo to jump in with her loud voice and object. Because Baloyi, Mnisi asked a fair request. Mnisi said, can we just adjourn for 5 minutes? I just need to validate what the state is in possession of. I need to verify the metadata for my client so that we are in agreement. The state is presenting the same photos that we, the defense, has. My lord says, perfect, you can adjourn. Baloyi says, no, we'll adjourn during the long lunch break. They can do that in the long lunch break. First of all, that's unfair. Lunch break is lunch break. Now, lunch break is a working lunch for the defense team because Baloyi did not want to stop. Is it that he did not want to stop or he did not want to let go of the information? Why? For me, that's a huge red flag. If everything was copacetic, everything above board, why didn't he agree to the 5-minute adjournment? Mnisi wasn't asking for 5 days. He was asking for 5 minutes and Baloyi said, no, let's continue. And he just continues about the board. And my lord doesn't stop him. This was very unfair and I understand why Mnisi didn't re-object because Mnisi's been taking the heat, okay? He's been taking the beating and he just doesn't want to go loose on this because he is not 100% certain. Because then if he looks at the metadata and it's the same, you know what my lord is going to do to him. So he had to go the gentle approach, which unfortunately puts Baloyi at an advantage in my opinion. So here's what I have to say. With regards to the Madlanga Commission. This is Clanky. Yep. Brigadier Clanky, who was promoted just a day before he sent his team, the Hawks team, to KT Molifi's house. And then he came to the Madlanga Commission last week, I think Wednesday. And when he was at the Madlanga Commission, his commissioning witness statement was not make sure. It was not make sure. There was a lot of pushback from the commissioners, even the evidence leader, even as commentaries all over TikTok, Facebook, YouTube. There was a lot on him. So today Madlanga Commission said, yeah, we need Clanky to come back. And Clanky said, Andizi, no, I need to consult with my legal representation. Why is he running? Why is he on the run? Same thing with Baloyi. If everything was above board, 5 minutes would not have derailed his absolutely boring AI autopilot cross-examination of Muzi. But let's continue listening on.
Well, just to respond to the issue of the metadata, sorry.
Thank you for the little indulgence, man. Thank you very much. Thank you.
The issue doesn't, well, we don't need to argue the point, Malot, at this point, but the photographer testified that these are the photos that I took and they were identified by Lieutenant Bonal Khadebe. But Mr. Sibiya, we just want, you mentioned, just moving on, you mentioned, or you testified that when you were assaulted at the First Lawrence Municipal area, you rolled during the assault on the 5th of June 2020, and that your clothes were dirty as a result. Is that correct?
ASA Rustenburg.